We don't know why our universe first came into being. But we have a pretty good estimate as to when and how. From a singularity of infinite density and energy, 13.7 billion years ago, the universe burst into existence. In just a few seconds, energy, space, and time are born. This formed the canvas of our universe, made from fundamental particles, quarks, electrons, photons, and neutrinos. Then came the four fundamental laws of nature: the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, electromagnetism, and gravity. After a few minutes, the universe was cool enough for quarks to join together, forming protons and neutrons. These bonded into the first simple elements, helium and hydrogen. Yet these elements were highly unstable. Electrons from these early elements were knocked free by the abundant radiation present during our early universe, and this released a photon. A record is left behind in light that we can still see today. We can even hear it in the form of a static radio hiss, the sound of our cosmic background radiation, the echo of the birth of our cosmos. It takes the universe another 380,000 years to cool off, and 1 billion years for the formation of the first galaxies. And galaxies are filled with weird and wonderful natural phenomena. Gravitational waves send ripples through the fabric of space and time. Black holes, the collapsed hearts of once giant stars. Nothing escapes their event horizon, not even light. There are over 2 trillion galaxies in our cosmos, and each one with over 100 million stars. They are born here in stellar nebulas, massive clouds of swirling gas, the nursery for new stars. And all sorts of stars are born. There are quasars and pulsars. And there are the giants, some almost 2,000 times the size of our own sun today. And deep within the hearts of these stars, helium and hydrogen fuse together, forming new, heavier elements, the building blocks of all matter that makes up our universe. By 6 billion years after the Big Bang, the first stars begin to die. Some simply burn out, or shrink to become brown dwarfs. But others end in spectacular events known as supernova. With each explosion, the elements born in their hearts are spewed out across the cosmos. The atoms that make up everything we know today, all that makes up our world and life in it, were formed in the heart of these stellar giants. All matter today is bound together by this shared ancestry among the stars. Around 8 billion years ago, in an arm of a barred spiral galaxy, a new star is being born. It's a fairly average star in our cosmos, a yellow dwarf. It's not very big, and it's not too hot. Just a balmy 50,000 degrees Kelvin at its surface. It will later be named Sol, and it's special because this star is ours. The Sun. Our Sun is roughly 1.3 million kilometers in diameter. It puts out a mass energy conversion rate of 4.26 million metric tons every second. As it forms, it spews solar flares, spraying heavy metals and other elements into our solar system. And as it grows in mass, it warps space and time around it, creating a gravitational well where planets begin to take shape. Rocky and gaseous planets alike arise. Collections of rock, ice, metal, and dust. And within just a few million years, a familiar solar system is born. The outer planets are giants, mostly formed of gas. Jupiter and Saturn are the first to form. The inner planets come later, and they are rocky, with orbits much closer to our Sun. And 4.6 billion years ago, the third planet from our Sun is formed. It's a period of great violence and turbulence. But the end result is the world that we know today as Earth. The cosmos is finally ready, and the stage is set for the evolution of life. We know that our early Earth was not a particularly hospitable world. Bombarded by meteorites and filled with toxic gases from volcanic activity, life in Earth's infancy seemed unlikely. And yet, research has shown that simple chemical reactions using the available elements of the time were in fact possible. Science hasn't discovered exactly how life first came to be, but we have some good guesses. New studies suggest that UV radiation from our Sun would in fact be enough for simple nucleic acids to form from Earth's basic elements. Or life may have been spurred by the thermal energy from hot vents deep in the ocean's crust, or alongside volcanic pools on the Earth's surface. It is even possible that life was in fact seeded from another world, transported to Earth by one of the many impacts during its formation. However it happened, by 3.5 billion years ago, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen were coming together for the first time. They formed amino acids, lipids, and nucleobases. These were the building blocks of DNA and RNA. This simple string of molecules formed over 3 billion years ago, is the ancestor to all living things that have followed. Within these strands of twisted nucleobase pairs were patterns, genes, that coded for the creation of yet more complex proteins. And these proteins began to do work. They learned, through the process of natural selection, to break down sugars. They learned to create and store energy. And they learned how to reproduce. Soon enough, some had learned to produce energy from sunlight. These ancient photosynthetic bacteria are the ancestors of all modern-day plants. As far as we know, these simple life forms were the very first living organisms in all of space and time. And yet, for the next 3 billion years, no complex organisms arise. For the most part, life remains microscopic, simple. Then, suddenly, between 500 to 600 million years ago, life makes a breakthrough. The oceans of the world began filling up with weird and wonderful organisms. It's the Cambrian explosion. Life begins to split into various groups, clearly defined by their unique characteristics. We can follow the lineage of every living organism today back to this ancient explosion of biodiversity in our seas. Natural selection has now become the driving force on Earth. It spurs the formation of new species. Individuals with traits suited to their habitat, traits that help them survive or attract a mate, are favored, and so their genetic code is passed along. As life begins to evolve and fill ecological niches, it begins to change the very Earth itself. Plants, lichen, and fungi have taken hold on land, and their respiration changes the atmospheric makeup of the entire planet. Oxygen fills the air, and animal life takes advantage. We leave the oceans, exploring a terrestrial world for the first time. For millions of years, nature moves along. The continents shift, and the climates change. 5 mass extinction events cause global catastrophe. But each and every time, life bounces back. Evolution takes an incredibly long time. But time is something that Earth has had in plenty. Just look around you today to see what nature and evolution have done with their time on planet Earth so far. the smallest of insects to the mightiest redwood. Life shares a single common origin story. We can trace the DNA of every living thing today back into our distant past, following a connection of ancestry that binds life together. The biodiversity of Earth today is bound by our past and by our shared future together. All life is in fact one. Today, this is something that most of us think very little about. Yet, I find it often on my mind. We should all try to remember that all life is united by a shared ancestry. From the birth of Earth's most basic elements, formed in the hearts of dying stars, to the genetic building blocks passed throughout the history of life on Earth. All life shares a cosmic origin, and every single creature has a part to play. Alright, so thanks for making it to the end of the video and welcome to the channel. I'm Earthman Dan and I'll be your host for this exciting new project together. This is a brand new channel, and so I figured I should start with something really epic. And frankly, what's more epic than the Big Bang and the formation of life in our cosmos? If you like that kind of video, make sure to get subscribed down below, because we're going to have a whole bunch of different series running on different environmental and science topics just similar to this. So as a brand new channel, the most important thing right now is to start building our audience. So one of the best ways that you can help at this stage is just sharing this video with friends, family, or anybody that you think might be interested in these sorts of topics. You can also help out by hitting that subscribe button down below. So you can tell the YouTube algorithm that you're interested in this sort of content by giving us a thumbs up, letting us know you liked the video, or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And you can also ring the bell if you want to be notified the next time we upload a new video. And I think we should have a new video coming out fairly soon. The most important and the best way that you can help us out at this early stage is by becoming a patron over on patreon.com/earthmandan. All the links for these things are going to be down below. And every little bit helps at this early stage. We've got some special perks as well for our earliest patrons, so head on over to check that out. So yeah, I think we'll set our starting goal at 10,000 subscribers within the first 6 months of this channel. So let's aim for that. That'll be an ambitious goal, but I think we can make it with your help. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Thanks again, guys, and look forward to catching you guys in the next video. Until that time, stay curious. Catch you in the next one. Peace.